Hi Aries, this is your Jupiter reading. Hope you're doing well. I'm getting a bit of energy here. It's a little different than my reading I did earlier with Pisces. Like I was just so, I don't know, lethargic, even though there's something like brewing for that, right? But now Aries, like I'm feeling, good. Maybe because I'm just tapping into the Aries, because I'm Team Aries with you. Woo woo. I have a stellium of Aries, all over the place. 12th house Aries for all you astrology aficionados. Which I guess is kind of important to note in the sense of like, okay, it's always important to know your chart. I always kind of emphasize that completely because I mean, like, though I'm an Aries, yes, this is gonna or probably resonate in some capacity in some way, but I mean, I have so many Aries and so many parts of everything and all in the 12th house too, like, that, um, that it could really be anything, right? But for example, because I'm a Taurus rising, and it's like, and it's in the 12th, my thing is the 12th house, like I can actually, it's like, though I will look at it from like a general Aries perspective and then however it kind of resonates. It's also helpful, sometimes, well, regardless if I was a Taurus rising or not, if I know that I have something in the 12th house, for example, basically what I'm trying to say is that, okay, with Jupiter, Jupiter has just gone direct. It's been direct for, roughly a week or so. And, well, not or so, but anyway, or maybe or so. I don't know. Time doesn't exist anymore. But, um, for the general Aries collective, right? You could think that, okay, it's affecting, okay, what are we in Capricorn? So we're going back, so it would be your 10th house, right? So as a collective, yes, it's probably affecting your 10th house. There's probably been something about, work and structure, and it's also kind of like thinking about, okay, if it's in Capricorn, which represents the 10th house, and then it's in your 10th house, there's a lot of, something about structure, and business and like, you know, doing what's right and like for, yourself, I suppose, but again, if you know your chart, like I can know that like mine is technically in the ninth house, so maybe the Taurus one might resonate more in terms of the Jupiter, and this would be resonate for whatever else, right? So the ninth house is again, more about like expanding the mind, and then like, I think Sagittarius energy. Anyways, I don't know why I was saying that, but basically, Aries, you guys rock. It's been tough, and we're heading to a full moon in Aries. Man, I remember full moon in Aries last year. Whoo, explosive. Aries energy can be explosive, especially when it's in Libra. Okay, so it's like, again, they're opposite energies. Aries is the house of I. If it's in the lower, vibrational kind of thing, it is kind of like I'm more me, egotistical is egotistical versus, if you're kind of more in a higher vibration Aries, right? But the Libra is all about, that partnership, legality, balance, it's kind of more of the, the me, going to the we, kind of thing. I don't want to, go we to me, whatever the case is, right? So, as we're heading into the full moon, in October 1st, 2nd, like you might find that, you know, things that happen around your birthday, like something is, something that you've manifested around your birthday, or, is starting to like see fruit and accumulate. So it's kind of interesting that it's kind of like around the same time that Jupiter's going direct, Saturn's going direct next week. Like, I mean, um, so I mean, I think if you're been paying attention to all these lessons and everything's been going, you can, if there is something that it has been brewing, between me and we kind of aspect, like if you have been ignoring it, it's gonna come to light. Full moons bring things to light. Okay, that is when, information. Anyways, so it's exciting time regardless, you know? And so I'm going to do a 6-card spread. And so, like, what can we tell Aries today to help them on their stay in highest vibration and on their truest path? What kind of lessons came in during Jupiter retrograde, you know? And what kind of blessings are they starting to see, you know? Especially if they've been learning their lessons and, you know, taking the signs they're guided to take. That all sounds like a mouthful, you know? But, you know, whatever. When in Rome. I'm kind of sleep deprived, yeah. Maybe. Okay. So what we have here on the bottom of the deck is 5 of Swords. When I was cutting it, 5 of Pentacles. Let's see what are the chances. No, double. I'm actually really good at like finding the same, you know, card. Anyways, whatever. So 5 of, you know, this is kind of under the deck. So there's been a lot of conflict. There's been a lot of deceit. Like, I mean, I'm saying deceit, you know, though this doesn't necessarily represent deceit specifically, right? Man, I want to, holding the whole deck is really heavy, I'm realizing. So under this, Page of Pentacles. Okay, anyway. So maybe you've been dealing with some immaturity. You know, but basically here is, you know, or maybe you have an opportunity where you can kind of put yourself first. But basically, I think what's been happening is that there's been a lot of conflict. You know, 5 of Swords is that, you know, winning at all costs. You know, this is those harsh words. This is, you know, like, you know, stabbing people behind the back. Like, this is the, you know, kind of like you know, maybe you're playing games, you're playing, you know, with swords, you know, and you know, then accidentally, like maybe, you know, you're play fighting, right? But then, you know, that person then stabs somebody, and they're just like, ah, we were only play fighting. It's like, what? And it's like, fine, whatever. Take my swords. I'm going home. You know. Um. So I mean, this is kind of be like nobody won. Like this guy's kind of like, I got away with it, you know, whatever, you know, or I got all the swords, you know, but if you got all the swords, what are you gonna do with all the swords if you have no one to play swords with? So it's also kind of a thing that like maybe you've been walking away from a lot of conflict. You know, it's kind of like it's not worth it. Take my swords, take my toys. I'm going home. I'm not taking this anymore. Okay. So the general theme is the 4 of Swords. Okay. So and this is the question kind of thing, you know? So I mean, so this has been underneath. So there has been, you know, like maybe for a long time during this, you know, Jupiter cycle, you know, there's been a lot of conflict, a lot of people putting themselves first, a lot of, you know, hurt words, you know. And so this has been a time, especially during the retrograde, where it's been a time of healing. It's been a time of rest. Okay. So we have the 5 of Swords, the 4 of Swords. You know, what came after both is 3 of Swords. You know, and so that is that disappointment, that is that heartbreak, you know. So this is rest. This is healing after that painful, you know, heartbreak, you know, whatever kind of capacity, you know, like whether it's just like, you know, words and, you know, or something stronger, you know, like I mean, it could be physically healing, you know, it's like maybe if there has been, you know, some, you know, health issues, like if I was to add these together, you know, 5 of Swords, 4 of Swords is 9 of Swords, which is stress, sleepless nights, you know, worries. You know, this has been kept calming a lot of worries, and this is all about kind of like healing. Like I said, it can actually be physically healing from some pain, like some, you know, actual cuts or, you know, injuries or something like that, you know, but this is like balancing the minds. And this is allowing, you know, divine guidance to come in, you know, spiritual. It's interesting. Okay. So I was gonna say, this is most of the time, like they show, you know, someone lying on the coffin and, you know, they're kind of reflecting, you know, getting wisdom, you know, birds and things like that. Usually, I don't know if there's a bird in here. There probably should be. You know, kind of represents that like wisdom, divine kind of thing, right? And, you know, usually they're on top, but they're still alive. And they're kind of reflecting on like, hey, I survived this, you know, that hurt, that sucked. But after, I'm going to come out swinging. You know, it's like, I am going to put myself first. Because this can be about that healthy selfishness. You know, it's like where you need to be like, okay, you know, no matter what, if I do need to hurt somebody, like in terms of being a little bit harsh, you know, again, as long as it's in a balanced mind, in a place that's ultimately to try to get some peace. Like, I mean, if someone's trying to constantly pick fights, pick fights, pick fights, if you walk away, it can't happen. They could, you know, try to follow you or something like that. But, you know, let's hope not. Okay, and how you've been responding to is Eight of Pentacles. So you've been working. So I don't know if this has been some conflict with work. The Eight of Pentacles is also about like, this is known as the apprentice. So maybe you've been taking some time to really kind of reflect on like where you can put your energy instead. You know, if there's like a lot of conflict around you, right? It's like, you know, why not gain some new skills? You know, like again, like I said, his apprentice, he's really like being focused in the work. So, I mean, it's kind of like maybe there's been a lot of time where it's just been kind of alone, you know, just kind of solitary, you know, but and just focusing on your craft, you know, and with the Page of Pentacles here too, that is about something new. That is about that student, you know, like this page is, you know, is like, you know, again, he's just learned all the lessons. He's ready to start something new. He has that like shiny pentacle right there. And he's like, okay, I know it can grow. Okay. So during this time, like maybe it's been like, you know, kind of slow. You've been trying to put a lot of effort in, you know. Maybe distract yourself from some conflict, you know, really kind of hone your skills, you know, maybe go to school, or back to school kind of thing, you know. And so, like, maybe it's been like during the retrograde is kind of like, I actually forgot what I was going to say. It'll come back if it's that too. Okay, you in the situation. Okay. I'm like, King of Pentacles in reverse. It's not King of Pentacles in reverse. I just picked up the deck upside down. Okay. I'm like, King of Pentacles in reverse doesn't matter. Or it doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. I remember what I was going to say. Is that like maybe there's been something that you've been like working on, like putting a lot of effort. I'm sorry that I'm like repeating all this kind of stuff. But it's been kind of slow, you know? And the opportunity that you have in your hand is that you know it's going to be a good opportunity. But you're only at the 8 yet. But you know it can get to the 10. You know? So, I mean, it does take patience. And you're showing up as the King of Pentacles, which Pisces also had the King of Pentacles, you know, which again, so I mean, like when it comes back to like learning your chart, right? Like, I mean, I used to say, like, I used to be like, especially I wouldn't be as emotional, you know, I'd be like taking in that, you know, Aries is the Emperor, right? You know, and, you know, being a little bit more masculine, not being as emotional, for example, you know, and being like, I have no Pisces in me, nothing at all. But then once I realized I had all the 12th house kind of stuff, 12th house is ruled by Pisces, you know, so it's all a combination, right? So it's like you as an Aries who's watching might also resonate with the Pisces reading because I mean both of these came up. Actually, all of these came up, and even the Five of Pentacles. So there's something about change, something about work, you know, like this is kind of like a time of healing from conflict, or you've been reflecting on conflict that has been happening on work, and maybe you've just been too concentrated on work, maybe, but you're getting some confidence back. It's like maybe what you've been working on, again, you haven't seen that much progress, okay? But you are stepping into your power, okay? Like, I mean, I know this is earth energy, right? Um, but like Aries is the emperor, they're the king of all the kings, in their highest energy kind of thing, or has the potential to be, for example. This is kind of embracing the King of Pentacles energy, so, he's the master of that material realm. He knows how to manifest, he knows how to create, he knows how to, be secure. He's very, well off, so I mean, something's been brewing that you've been working on, okay? And so, but I mean, but if the questions is about this Four of Swords, it's like maybe you haven't seen anything yet. But your higher self, or what has been like, spiritual message or whatever the case is the Knight of Swords. So I think this is about patience. I think, like, I mean, it can mean that, somebody's coming around, like, especially if it's been, you've just been kind of working alone. Like, maybe there's somebody around. Like, the Knight of Swords is, younger energy. Like, well, younger than the King of Pentacles, but still mature, he communicates, he goes after justice, he's a revolutionary, and, so this can represent, maybe it is time to take more action, okay? If there's been a lot of conflict, like if you think about this, like, I mean, this has kind of been under the deck. 5. This has kind of been like the issue. 4. That's going backwards, right? Rather than going forwards with 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is balancing the thoughts. Like, this can be balancing the thoughts as well, but I mean, you're healing, but you almost kind of have to come out swinging again, to like fight for what is right, what is right, what is just. Like, I mean, the knights, because they're, still learning lessons, they may not be as mature, they may not always get to their, destination, for example, they can get bad rep. But I mean, they get shit done. Like, I mean, you know, they're gonna come in, with the fast communication, maybe this is about, you know, this can potentially be like you've been kind of on a break, and so you need to move faster now, you know, or to expect things to come fast. Like maybe you're gonna get a message, you know. We'll see how it kind of plays out. Okay, 4 of Wands. So your environment around you has been, yeah, so the 4 of Wands is, you know, can be that vacation. It can be an event. It can represent, partnership. Can be known as the, 1111 card, twin flame card. It's interesting. So we have got a lot of, though we don't have much emotions here, there at least is something that is, I would say, almost like there's an opportunity around you to get some kind of peace and balance. Like, okay, we have some 4s here, so I would also say that this can be about maybe your, anything that's 4th house, so it can be, your home, because I mean, this can represent, that your home, and what is, comfortable. It can represent also too, it's usually like they're kind of dancing at a wedding, so I don't know if you have to, there's, but it's also about celebration too, because I mean, if you think about, okay, if we go on the Wands energy, the Ace of Wands is that idea, that, that passion, the inspiration kind of thing. Not quite the idea, which mean, anyways, doesn't matter. Two wands is like making that, taking that first step, going that direction, but you still might have one foot back in the past, one foot in the future kind of thing, right? And the three wands is kind of like, okay, now you've made your decision. You've decided which way you're gonna go. So now you're like waiting for your ships to come in. Like maybe you're waiting for somebody to arrive. Maybe it's this, you know, maybe somebody from work or something like that, or in order to cause peace, something like that. You're either going to hear about somebody coming in, or you need to come in order to bring this peace. This is harmony. Okay, so this can be also about coming and having a celebration. But after this is the Five of Wands. So it means kind of about having this, a bit of reprieve, but the fight must go on, the project must continue, it's having a bit of team success maybe, and so maybe you're like starting to, okay, if we were talking about there's conflict and you're kind of back, maybe there's been something that you've removed this conflict, or the conflict has been removed, so now there is a piece of, or like a coming back to harmony, coming back to celebration, coming back to teamwork, but then again, then comes after the Five of Wands, which in this capacity, it can be, knowing to like that you need to do something about this conflict, or it can be about like now people are coming together, and causing this peace that they can now create, like Five of Wands can be about that competition, that friendly competition, Anyways, we'll see how it's going. I don't know, I'm losing my voice. It seems like I'm losing my voice. Okay, the answer is, yeah, so this is a coming together reading, but about work. Maybe after some conflict of work, so I mean, it's either been about something you have been working on, that you haven't been seeing as much of progress as you've been hoping for, so you could be having like an internal, struggle within your mind that during the retrograde, it's kind of been a healing period, okay, and where you've been kind of more focusing on yourself and your abundance and your craft and gaining new skills, okay, but maybe your higher self is telling you that you are going to get some kind of message, or that someone's going to come in, or some kind of reunion, or like, I mean, if you have a wedding or a birthday, this can represent like a holiday, like the next holiday or something like that, but there is going to be, it's like friendship and fun is part of the answer and the guidance to this. Oops. Okay. So I would say that I think you've been working really, really hard. And very likely alone. There's been conflict around. It's easier to just be alone and do it yourself, right? Aries is the boss. Boss gets shit done. Other people may just slow you down. I don't know. I like people, I think. But so you've been kind of reflecting on this, kind of seeing what has been, what was the reason for this maybe, and just, maybe there's been something new you have started. Okay, so which this retrograde, this slowdown has really, again, maybe affected by the by COVID, not like getting infected, but I mean like the sense of maybe affected. Oh my God, everybody's been affected in some capacity. Hopefully not. Anyways, so, but the answer is it's time to have some fun. It's time to have a little bit of a break. you've been working really hard. So I do think that part of what you were going to start seeing as Jupiter goes direct and as the rest of the year ends, is that you are going to see more fun. And if not, it's time to have fun. And it might be this like air sign, that might come in maybe that will bring fun, and it could be somebody that's around work, or maybe bring in some healing from work, maybe your coworkers. Like, man, I don't know why I'm so like jumbled these days. It seems like, well, I mean, I am healing. I know many of you know I just had a seizure, and so I am recovering from it. And so like, so it's kind of like if you have been healing from something as well, and it's kind of been like isolating yourself, and just kind of resting, and focusing yourself. It is time to have fun. And friends are going to come around. People are going to come around. It might be, again, coworkers, or, I don't know. But it's time for some action, though, regardless. What's the takeaway message? Ten of Pentacles. So what you were working on is gonna get to the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. This can mean that like someone might come around in terms of, we have a lot of things that talk about reunion, and partnerships and others, and like the Ten of Pentacles does talk about that like legacy, that happily ever after, feeling like completely, abundant, and it's like that Eight of Pentacles is gonna become the 10, but there might be something that you need to take action on, or there's going to be a message that you're going to receive that you know about, and you have a feeling, an inkling at least about, because it's coming from your like, spiritual downloads or something like that, where there's going to be a reunion and a celebration. So hopefully that was helpful. Like, I don't remember anything I ever say anytime I say it in general life, but also with these readings, so you're trying to channel it. But we do have Two of Pentacles, change. I just kind of just happen to see it. So, there is change coming. If things have been slow, if you haven't been seeing progress in your, like, work or your craft, or, that ace of, that Page of Pentacles, wherever he went, okay, Magician. So you're manifesting. You have all the tools. You've had all the tools to make things happen. And now it's just about juggling a little bit with the new and the old until you get your footing. But when you get on that other side, okay, from that experience, like, man, there's another reading that like talked about this, like, I don't know, it was like Libra, I think, maybe. So maybe that one reversed, maybe Scorpio, I can't remember which one. It was one of the first ones I did, and it's just like, when you get on the other side from this change, maybe like you need to travel or whatever the case is in order to really kind of continue to focus on here, okay? But include, other people, have some fun, change is happening, so do that little tight walk a little bit longer, but you're going to start to see things moving faster, okay? And especially like as we get into December, into like the new year, it's gonna be work. But you're gonna be awesome, and congratulations, and something is gonna come in and it's going fast. So I would say prepare, because if something is gonna come in that's gonna maybe require you to work more, but like maybe this whole thing has been about making sure to balance, that like work and play, So if someone is potentially going to come in with a message, or you need to give a message, it's like, enjoy that reunion, enjoy that celebration, or if you had to return, for, have a holiday, enjoy that rest while it lasts, because it's gonna get busy. But you're prepared. You know. Anyways, have a good one. Take care.